with Brad Crawford. We were trying to crunch the numbers. I think he's done like at least 15 to 20 different CFP predictions. And here is the latest one for how he sees things shaking out. The top 4 teams with the bye, Ohio State being number 1, A&M number 2, then Indiana, Georgia. We got a Notre Dame, Oklahoma first round matchup. Tulane. Welcome back into the CFP conversation. I feel like you've been in and out, facing Texas Tech. Virginia, the representative from the ACC, taking on Oregon, and then an SEC on SEC matchup, a 10-7 there with Alabama and Ole Miss. Brad Crawford is back with us here, and Brad, you're going to run through your matchups, and we're going to start here with the first round. And we have Notre Dame playing Oklahoma on the road. Who advances, and why do you have them where they are?
Yeah, I've got Notre Dame winning this game, although I think Notre Dame is playing like a top 4 team right now. Now, 2 losses may suggest otherwise. I know the Irish are not going to get an opening round bye, but no team is playing better football right now than the Irish after scoring 70 against Syracuse. I think Notre Dame handles a team right now in Oklahoma that is not scoring enough points for me.
Yeah, it's hard to believe this is a Notre Dame team that was, 0-2 to start the season. All right, the next first round matchup, we have Tulane and Texas Tech. Does Tulane somehow pull off this upset, or do you have Tech advancing?
Yeah, Texas Tech's defense is too good. Depending on what metric you like to look at this season, I mean, the Red Raiders are top 5 in pretty much every statistical category on that side of the football. I think my projected Big 12 champion, Texas Tech, this will be the most lopsided first round game.
Okay, so Texas Tech advances there. Then we have Virginia repping the ACC. A lot of chatter about, is it going to be Miami? We don't have Miami in here. Virginia facing Oregon. Who do you have advancing to the quarters?
Yeah, unfortunately for the ACC, I just don't see that being a 2-bid league unless something crazy happens where Miami gets to Charlotte and wins the ACC title game. I think Virginia beats Virginia Tech this weekend and eventually wins the conference. However, they're going to have trouble scoring at Alson Stadium in the first round. Oregon's playing like an elite team right now, too. I've got the Ducks winning this game by double digits.
And then we have a 10-7 matchup, an all-SEC first-round matchup with Alabama and Ole Miss. So who do you have coming out on top?
Probably the best first-round game as far as good on good is concerned. I have Alabama as my 10 seed. And what I mean by that is I think the Crimson Tide win the Iron Bowl this weekend, lose to Texas A&M in the SEC championship game, and at 10-3 overall, Alabama is the last team in, according to that committee. And then Ole Miss. Is Lane Kiffin going to be coaching the Rebels? Probably not in the first round. So I like Alabama to win in Oxford.
Okay, so there you have it. Let's move on to the quarters. And starting at the top of the screen here, Notre Dame and Ohio State. Does Ohio State continue on to try to go back-to-back, or do you have Notre Dame pulling off the upset there in this quarterfinal matchup?
In its toughest game of the season, I think Ohio State does win this game by a field goal. These are 2 of the best teams in the bracket. It's unfortunate that this is going to be a quarterfinal matchup, but it all depends on Notre Dame's draw. If they get that 9 seed and have to play an unbeaten Ohio State in the second round, that's tough sledding for Marcus Freeman. I like Ohio State.
All right, Texas Tech, I know you said that was the most lopsided matchup in the first round, beating Tulane to get here to take on Georgia. Georgia is certainly a different beast than Tulane. So do you have Tech advancing, or is UGA just going to be too tough of an opponent?
Yeah, Georgia's clicking on all cylinders right now. They really looked the part 2 weeks ago against Texas in a game that really had SEC championship implications. I think Georgia rolls against Georgia Tech, and I think Georgia rolls against the Big 12 champion, Texas Tech, Georgia, into the semifinals.
All right, we have a Big Ten rematch in another quarterfinal. And we've seen this before in the regular season, and we all know what happened with Oregon and Indiana. What is the outcome this go around?
Yeah, Indiana already won this game at Oregon earlier this season, and I think on a neutral field, the Hoosiers are probably about a touchdown favorite. We've already seen what Mendoza can do against a vaunted Oregon defense. I think he has several touchdown passes again, and this Big Ten second-best team, Indiana, moves on to the semis.
Okay, so from an all Big Ten matchup in the quarters to an all SEC one with Bama and A&M, who advances here, Brad?
I'm going Texas A&M. Marcel Reed, I think right now should be a Heisman finalist. He is playing as well as any quarterback in college football, and I think Texas A&M wins this game and pushes Mike Elko 1 win away from getting to the championship.
All right, there you have it. We have like an all-red semifinal matchup on both ends, starting with the defending national champions, Ohio State, taking on Georgia. Who punches their ticket to the national championship out of this matchup, Brad?
This is a rematch of Ryan Day versus Kirby Smart from a couple years ago in Atlanta, where Marvin Harrison Jr. got injured there in the end zone. C.J. Stroud had the late comeback. But I like Ohio State to win this game and get back to the championship game in hopes of defending their crown.
Okay, so it's Ohio State coming out on top there. The other semifinal matchup, we have Indiana and Texas A&M. So who is going to be facing the Buckeyes in the national championship game?
This is where Kirk Cignetti's season ends and the Hoosiers' dream scenario is over. Texas A&M, Ohio State. Go ahead and punch that ticket. That's the final.
Okay, so there you have it. It is the Big Ten and the SEC duking it out in the national championship game. A 1-2 matchup with Ohio State and Texas A&M. So, Brad, does Ohio State defend their championship, or do you see A&M winning this one?
Yeah, Ohio State's been my front runner for weeks, and I have just got to stick with the Buckeyes until I'm proven otherwise. Maybe Ohio State gets upset by Michigan this weekend, and this whole bracket, gets thrown in the trash when we make another one. But I think Ohio State right now, as well as the Buckeyes look offensively, defensively, they're even better with Arvell Reese and Caleb Downs. So I like Ohio State to win another championship.
All right, and they certainly have a big one coming up this weekend. All eyes are going to be on that Michigan game. Brad, we certainly appreciate it. Walking us through your CFP bracket edition, like 27, 28, 29, something. Brad does one of these a week, maybe 2 or 3. All right, we're looking at the odds to win the CFP here. And Ohio State, they are the favorites at plus 175. The next closest is Indiana at 5-1.